coach. And like it or not, the coach tells you what's wrong. Tiger Woods has a coach. Think about that. Tiger Woods has somebody who goes, you know, that just didn't look right. You gotta be kidding me. Training. It's about, as a swimmer, how does your hand hit the water? What's the position of your arm? Where's your head? When do you breathe? How do you do your flip turn? It's about study. It's about preparation. It's about somebody saying there's a better way. It's about people being hungry to learn. It's about pastors who are willing to invest. Training. The second part is you got to be focused. This is the mental part of getting ready. You got to understand what the mission is. You got to commit to the mission. You can't get deviated from the mission just because all of a sudden you're swimming along and you see some little kid up at the top of the balcony. Hey kid, you can't do that. You got to stay focused. Understanding what the plan is. And the third part is the behaviors, the discipline, to doing it correctly. Making sure that that training and the focus that your hand really is going in like it's supposed to. And that you really did dive in like you're supposed to. All those little things make a difference. Because there is a right way and there is a better way. You understand? And so you and I, we've got to be committed to the mission. There is no selling out. My son participates in the karate small group that meets here on Mondays and Thursday nights. And a couple weeks ago, they were breaking some boards. And one of the things Ralph said, Ralph Sanchez is our sensei, Ralph said to the one young man who was teaching him how to break it, he said, you have to be committed. The board just gets in the way. You've got to envision your hand is already through that board. The board just is going to break. Okay? Well, the young man went, like that. And Ralph says, committed. Because he pulled back. You've got to be committed that we're really planning on winning this thing. Really committed. And so what you end up with is these things called targeted ministries. And targeted ministries is like target marketing. Have you ever wondered how you just moved and Welcome Wagon knew it? You got there and here's this packet. Or you just had a baby and somebody sent you a letter, congratulations on your new baby, you need life insurance. You ever wonder how you get one of those? It's because somebody somewhere has target marketed new families or people that have moved and they figured out how to get your information. And so they're not wasting their time on everybody, they're picking a certain demographic and they're trying to make a living off of that certain group. And the same thing is true with church. Okay? When you take a church like ours, which by the way, national average, we're a big church. The average church in America is about 70 people. Okay? Now, when you compare us to churches around Orlando that that own their own mall, we're not a big church. But what I would tell you is this: we can't provide everything they can because we don't have resources, people, and facilities. But until we do, we can do what we do very well. But we've got to know who our target is, and our target is very small because we are intentionally going after two groups of people. We are looking for people who don't know Christ yet, and people that are wanting to grow in their faith. That's it. People who don't know Christ yet and people who want to grow. We're not looking for the status quo. We're not looking for people from other churches who want to come and sit and warm a chair. That's not who we're looking for. We're looking for people that don't know Christ yet and people that want to grow in their faith. That's who we're looking for. My dad, I was talking to him about the church when we were visiting up there in September and telling him some of the things we're doing. He goes, well, why would you sing that song? I don't even know that song. And I said, Dad, you're not my demographic. If my parents lived in Orlando, I wouldn't expect them to come to church here. Because I'm not feeding what they need. They're 70 years old, been around the church for 72 years. Okay? They know all the answers. They're deeply mature, committed Christian people. That's not really who our market is. Okay? Now, maybe one day it will include those people, but right now that's not who we are. Because we don't have the resources, people, and facilities to do that. And so who we're after are people who don't know Christ yet, and people who want to grow in their faith. I met with somebody from church this week that as we talked, what was said to me was, my prayer life is struggling and I just don't feel like I'm growing. And I'm like, hallelujah! This is my guy! This is who I'm looking for. People who aren't satisfied any longer to say, I'm doing the same old thing and I'm cool. That's not who we're after. And so what that means is, everything that happens here is geared toward those two groups of people. Everything that happens and doesn't happen is geared toward people who don't know Christ yet and people that want to grow. Every event that we have or don't have, that we used to have that we might not have in the future, it's got to feed these two groups of people. How will this event help us attract people who don't know Christ? How will this event help people grow? That's our two questions. And things that we did or don't do will all be reflective of those two things. That make sense? Yes. Okay? Targeted ministry works. Go down to Chick-fil-A and order a cheeseburger. What are they going to tell you? Ain't got none. That's not our market. Go down to Taco Bell and order pasta. They're going to send you down the street because they've decided they can make enough money off of chicken and Mexican food that they can make a living. Well, hallelujah, praise Jesus. Okay? Got to be focused on what we're doing. And so everything we do is designed to reach those two groups of people. Okay? Here's how it works. We have some research that the state has provided for me, and if you could look at an aerial map of our church, 1/2 mile northeast of here, there's a development that has about 1,800 homes in it. If you do a demographic study of those 1,800 homes, 1 out of every 3 of those homes is a single parent. If you go 1/2 mile southwest of here, down this way, there's another development of about 2,000 homes, and over 80% of them are what we would call traditional family. Mom and dad or mom and stepdad and kids. So if we're going to start a ministry to unwed moms or to single parents, we're not going down to this development because that's not that market. We would go up to the northeast corner. You see how it works? So we're not just down here wasting our time and our money and our energy because that's not their need. So the way it works is churches find out the needs that people have, and we create ministries that meet that need, and then people hang around. Because what has happened in America is we've become consumers of religion. I'll come eat at your restaurant until the next church builds playland, has Happy Meals, and gives out toys to kids at kids' church, and then they're going to go to church somewhere else. And so what we have to do is find a way to meet the needs. And the key to meeting the needs is relationships. And I know I skipped this part. The key to this is relationships, and I want to show you this formula. In the business world, what they say is, the key is the value of the relationship is measured in the square of the nodes. N-O-D-E-S. Okay? And this is what I want to show you. Let's say this next picture is you and your coworker. Okay? They have a family of 4, you have a family of 4. But only 2 people know each other. That's 2 nodes. The square of the nodes is 4. The value of that relationship is 4. But if you get your 4 together with their 4, now we have how many? 8 nodes. And the square of 8 is 64. And so the value of the relationship is now worth 64. If by chance you happen to get together with 2 more couples that have 4, you now have 16 nodes. The value of those relationships is now 256. What does that mean? It means when people come to church, that if they get hooked up with 1 person, the value of the relationship is 1. Is 2 people is 4. The value is 4. But if you introduce them to 5 or 6 other people, and now you start hanging out and you build relationships, this is why we have small groups. And so people can build up the value of relationships, because when calendars get cramped and when things get pushed to shove, the first thing to go is relationships that don't have a lot of value. Okay, so when you meet a couple, when you meet some new people, go introduce them to another couple. Go introduce them to somebody else. So that you can add value to the relationship. And those of you that are new, you know how hard it is to fit in a church. Then you're looking for couples and other people to connect with. And the more people, the more value. That's why it's important to be in a small group. It's because it builds up the value of the relationship that you have, not only with the church, but with God. And what is our mission? It's to connect people to people so that we can connect people to God. That is our mission. Now here's our plan. Now I'm going to say it like this. The plan specifics are subject to change. But the shell of the plan is probably pretty well set in stone. Here's the plan. Ready? The plan is to teach you how to build relationships with people and how to share your faith. That's the first step. Some of you are like, well, Pastor Tom, I'm already a really nice person. I know how to make friendships. Well, this ain't how to win friends and influence people.